Before we get into this in-depth conversation, let me make it clear. If you like the sequels, that's amazing. If you hate the sequels, that's amazing too. If you hate Anakin Skywalker, the original, the prequels, Darth Vader, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We're here to talk about what Disney has done with the Star Wars franchise, and honestly, in my opinion, how they have completely destroyed it. Now let's look back in time. 2012, Disney buys Star Wars for $1 billion, a ton of money, stuff like that. George Lucas says, "Hey, I had an outline for 7, 8, 9. Darth Maul was gonna come back. There was gonna be some crazy shit. Darth Maul was coming back. Luke Skywalker was gonna rebuild the Jedi Academy, things like that." You know what Disney does? They take a fat dump on it. They say, "Fuck your plan, George Lucas, the guy who made the franchise. We're doing our own thing." So then we go to 2015. The Force Awakens comes out. We got Rey, we got Finn, we got Poe, we got Kylo Ren. Still continuing the Skywalker saga with Kylo Ren, etc., etc. But what did they do with The Force Awakens? The Force Awakens was their reboot for Disney Star Wars. Now look, the movie made a bunch of money. It's like a top 5 grossing film of all time. It's kind of crazy. That's what they did with Star Wars. But look, it was a safe reboot. They didn't do anything crazy. They didn't have any legacy characters. They didn't have anything that would shake the fan base. We get that. It was a reboot. It's their version of Han, Luke, and Leia. You know, you have Finn, you have Poe, you have Rey, etc., etc. Then we come episode 8. We come in episode 8, right? The Last Jedi. The film that changed the Star Wars franchise forever. The Last Jedi. Now look, The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker, his grand return in a million years. Oh my God, Luke Skywalker. It's all over my screen. Literally, it's all over my screen. But look, what they did to Luke Skywalker, I will never understand the thought process that was going on Disney. You get Luke Skywalker, the first time seeing him in a million years, and Disney completely takes a dump on him. They say, "Fuck Luke Skywalker, that was in episode 6. We don't care anymore." They're going to make him this scary cat, hermit, fuck everything type of character, which to me, I literally don't understand that. Episode 8 was a absolute dumpster fire for the Star Wars franchise. You had J.J. Abrams, then Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson, what in God's green earth were you thinking about making The Last Jedi the way it was? You have Luke Skywalker going to kill off his nephew because he had a vision of him doing that. You have him being completely against and rebuking the Jedi. He said it all must burn, it all must crash. We have Yoda coming in there, being a Force ghost, etc., etc. Look, The Last Jedi made huge damages in the Star Wars franchise that I don't think they've been able to repair from. Look, Disney's had some good projects. They had The Mandalorian and Grogu, episode 1 and 2. They had The Bad Batch. They had the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which we will get into later. They've had The Bad Batch, etc. They've had some good franchises. They've had some good projects. But the problem is that the main projects, which is the Skywalker saga, they completely took a dump on. They completely shit the bed on. Episode 8, huge damage. Episode 9 comes in. We see the return of Palpatine. Look, Palpatine clearly was not going to be in from the beginning. We just know that. That my man Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine, Sheev himself, was not going to be the main villain in episode 9. That was a crazy pull. They had no idea what they were doing. They said, fuck it, let's bring him in there. Then they decided to make Rey a Palpatine. There's no way they thought that either. Then we have Rey at the end of the Rise of Skywalker say, Rey Skywalker? What the fuck are you talking about? You just said you're a Palpatine. You're Palpatine's granddaughter. What are you fucking saying? You're a Skywalker. You ain't no Skywalker. You ain't Kylo Ren, baby. You're not. You're Rey Palpatine. I don't even know what they were doing with episode 9. Episode 9, again, had some cool moments. They had Kylo Ren come in there, and redeem himself, etc. Which, honestly, in the sequel trilogy, Kylo Ren was the best character. Like, he was the best character. He had Skywalker Saga. He had Darth Vader being his grandfather. Really cool stuff. They completely shot the bed with it, but whatever. Look, 7, 8, 9, 2019 comes. They take an absolute shit on the movies. The movies are done. Then we come into Disney Plus. Look, I'm not going to lie. The Clone Wars Season 7, that is some shit right there. That is my shit right there, man. That is peak. That's peak right there. That we love that right there. We absolutely love that right there. Darth Maul Redemption, Ahsoka. That's some fire shit. That was one of Disney's biggest plus. But the problem is that not a lot of people are seeing the movies compared to the shows. Look, the movies are what going to bring people out. The movies. Look, I love the Clone Wars. I love The Bad Batch, which I thought was another fantastic project. Episode 3, that final episode with Omega, that was some fire shit, man. That was some fire shit right there. But the problem is that the movies are what going to bring people out. Look, we go over all of Disney's projects. They've had some movies. Rogue One, that's a banger. Let me take that back. That was a banger right there. Rogue One was a banger. Darth Vader hallway scene, that's some fire shit right there. That is some fire shit. Solo, a Star Wars story. We get Darth Maul then. But that, again, Solo, another spin-off, which is cool, but it doesn't move the needle for me. It doesn't move the needle for me. That's my thing, is that Han Solo is a cool character, legacy character. Harrison Ford, great actor, but it doesn't move the needle for me. That's my thing. It doesn't move the needle for me. That movie, and of course, that movie was after The Last Jedi. Last Jedi was so horribly filmed and horribly, not filmed, but received. What the heck did you think was going to happen for Solo? You thought people were just going to forget about what you did to Luke Skywalker? No, absolutely not. So we got a couple movies in there, outside spin-offs, Rogue One, Solo, etc. We got a lot of TV. We got The Mandalorian and Grogu, season 1 and 2, takes the world by storm. We got Baby Grogu, Pedro Pascal. We got The Mandalorian, some fire shit, man. Some fire shit, which was Grogu, which was some fire shit right there. We're not going to hate on The Mandalorian. That's one of their pluses. Then we get into Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, look, I would love to speak to a Disney representative and be like, hey, man, what were you thinking about giving Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, 3 of the most popular characters on this entire fucking planet? You gave them $90 million at the budget, didn't make it a movie, which that movie, I'm telling you right now, if Obi-Wan Kenobi's a movie, that shit's making at least 500 mil plus. That is some fire shit right there. If they did what they talked about, they were gonna make it a trilogy. They were gonna make it a 3-part movie. Dude, that shit right there, you know what? If they did it right, bro, that shit could have revived Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie to you. An Obi-Wan Kenobi movie with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude, my dad would go watch that. My dad hasn't seen anything with Star Wars. He would go, hey, son, we're going to go watch that movie right now. Obi-Wan Kenobi back in the movie theater. But you know what they did? They gave it $90 million, which, look, I'm not hating on Andor. I'm not an Andor hater, but come on, man. We cannot compare Andor and the Acolyte to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Andor, look, I'm not the biggest Andor fan. A little bit of a snooze fest. I'm not going to lie to you. It is one of the first Star Wars projects that I was legitimately falling asleep in. But, dude, how are those projects getting that budget, but Obi-Wan Kenobi gets $90 million? Guys, I need to know. I need to know. Someone needs to break that down to me. How? How is that possible? Then we have the Boba Fett series, another fire series. But again, they didn't do the character right. Why is Boba Fett acting like that? Cad Bane. Look, Cad Bane is some fire shit, man. Like the projects just felt like it was just a tease. It was just a tease. Like, bro, like you had Boba Fett, you had Cad Bane come in there for the first time. You had Luke, Ahsoka, all these characters that were in Boba Fett, but you just, it's a tease. Like, why did you have to tease me like that, man? Don't edge me. What's with the edging? Come on, man. Like, had some good parts, but it just was incomplete. It was incomplete. It just wasn't there. Like, it just wasn't there. Like, some of these projects, bro, we have The Mandalorian, we have Rogue One, we have The Bad Batch, we have Andor. Like, they have good parts. But the problem is that the majority of it is just crap. The majority of it is just straight up crap. Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude. Obi-Wan Kenobi broke all records for Disney Plus. Of course it was going to. You have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader. Dude, I stayed up 24 hours to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. 24 hours. I had something to do the night before. I had a graduation, and I was like, you know what? I'm staying up 24 hours. I need to go see this Obi-Wan Kenobi. But why did they do it like that, man? Why did they do it? I mean, look at some of these projects. We got the Ahsoka series. Look, Ahsoka series is another fire shit. But again, there's some parts of it that are complete and utter crap. There's some parts of there, Anakin Skywalker, Baylan Skoll, Ahsoka, World Between Worlds. Like, it's some fire shit. Now, look, honestly, the only project that Disney went 6 for 6 on was probably Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi, that is some fire shit. I need to look. It just seems to me, everything animated, Disney's a slam dunk, but live action, it's just not there. It's just not there. Like, we see things like we see things like the Clone Wars, Season 7, absolute fire, peak right there, peak cinema. Then we have Tales of the Jedi, some fire shit. Tears of the Empire and Tales of the Underworld, very mid to me. Nothing crazy, very mid, but still, look, they've had some fire stuff. Look, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that we need to look at the past, the present, and the future. The past of Disney Star Wars is very simple. They've completely alienated the franchise with the movies, Luke Skywalker, etc. Some TV shows, The Acolyte, Andor, like, look, these shows have some good parts, but it's just utter dog shit. Can you believe that The Acolyte had Plagueis for the first... Like, what? Darth Plagueis, the man that probably everyone has wanted some sort of spinoff, he was in The Acolyte. Like, dude, like, holy shit. Holy moly shit. That's some crazy shit right there. But look, they fuck it up. The Acolyte is like, it's just like a nothing burger. Like, why didn't they just make a Plagueis series instead of The Acolyte? I don't understand that. Then we have shit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I will never get over Obi-Wan Kenobi. Look, they didn't fuck up Darth Vader. Like, if you fuck up Darth Vader, like, the mob is going to come after you. Like, you cannot fuck up Darth Vader. But it's like, how do they do that? How do they do that? But whatever. We look at the present when it comes to Star Wars. That's kind of like the past. We look at the present when it comes to Disney Star Wars. Like, we have absolutely nothing. We have absolutely nothing. We have The Mandalorian and Starfighter. Look, these are movies that are very safe, that don't move the needle. The thing about Star Wars is like the needle is like panic mode. Like, we are in panic mode for Star Wars. Does The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I saw the trailer, does it move the needle? No. It literally looks like a Disney Plus side quest that they made into movie format. I don't know what they're going to do, but it literally looks like a Disney Plus side quest. Then we have Starfighter. I don't know a lot of the plot leaks for Starfighter. Ryan Gosling coming in there. I think the guy who directed Deadpool and Wolverine is also going to be in the movie, but is it going to move the needle? I heard things that Rey might be in Starfighter. Really, you're going to open up that can of worms after the disaster that it was 789? I just don't understand it. And that gets into the future of Star Wars. What are they going to do with the future of Star Wars? Guys, I have no idea. I have no idea. Are you going to make a 10, 11, 12? What are you going to do there? 10, 11, 12? With the same cast? Are you going to reboot everything? Are you just going to continue to make shows? It just seems like Lucasfilm has no idea what they're doing. And that's the saddest part, is that they have so many good characters. You have so many good storylines. Dude, you can make something from 6 to 7. 6, 7! You can make stuff from 6, 7. Luke Skywalker and the disaster that was Kylo Ren. I think Kylo Ren's a cool character. What are you going to do there? Then we have, after 9, they're going to have Rey Skywalker. We're not calling her Rey Skywalker in the video. We're going to have Rey be like this Obi-Wan Kenobi shadowy figure that, like, no, what are you gonna have Rey rebuild the Jedi Order? Like, it just seems like they have no vision. Like, Andor, cool project, not for me, a little bit of a snooze fest. We have The Acolyte, had some crazy parts with Yoda, with these Jedi, with Darth Plagueis. Holy shit, man, like, holy shit. It's just like they just don't know what they're doing. They have nowhere to go. Then you have Obi-Wan Kenobi. Maybe some rumors of a part 2, because Qui-Gon Jinn, or season 2, Qui-Gon Jinn was teased. And what, they're gonna do a part 2 or season 2 where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn kind of like explore how to be a Force Ghost? Like, I think that's fire. I think it's a great concept. Right? Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi does become a Force Ghost. How does he do that with Qui-Gon Jinn and Liam Neeson? Like, that's some fire shit right there. But you're going to give it, what, $90 million? Like, I just don't understand, guys. I need to know. And look, if we look at the leadership, when it comes to the leadership of Star Wars, like, it's just nothing, man. Like, Kathleen Kennedy, man, like, all these people, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, it's like, these people don't know what they're doing, man. Like, we need people to go in there who know George Lucas to run the franchise. Like, this is bad. This is really bad, man. Like, they don't know what they're doing. I just don't get it. Like, but look, man, at the end of the day, Star Wars is in the toilet. Let's be real. People would move their movies because Star Wars were coming out. Star Wars had the holiday season. Star Wars had the movie theater on lock, where if a Star Wars movie's coming out, you better not run your movie there, because Star Wars is going to take all the fans. But people said, no, fuck Star Wars. We're not moving our movie now. Like, that's crazy. But look, man, I just wanted to make this video. The How to Destroy an Empire, a Star Wars story. Kathleen Kennedy has really destroyed it. And I don't know what they're going to do, man. I want the best for Star Wars. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 4 years old. My dad getting me into it, watching Revenge of the Sith, watching all these movies. But they just don't know what they're doing, man. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about what they're going to do with Star Wars, man. Let me know what you think. And if you're new, man, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I'm going to try to get daily videos out there for all these movies and game topics, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. And hopefully Star Wars can finally get some redemption.